Hi everyone.
Hey guys.
We just wanted to provide a video update. So with all of the corona things going on right now, everybody's aware of that. We're actually going to host class online for the next 2 weeks. Our anticipation was to continue with class, but we want everyone to stay safe and healthy, stay at home, do all the things you need to do. So luckily, Dave Ramsey does provide a really good format in order to promote a class that would be online, which is great. So what we're going to do is we'll kind of walk through a traditional class. We'll pause, we'll have you guys watch the video online, we'll include the link in the email that you'll be getting with this as well, and then we'll come back together for the discussion and you can pop back into this video. Our hope is that once all of this is over, we can still do some sort of fun activity celebration to get you guys your certificates, but in the meantime, we're really just encouraging you to take your time, do the baby steps, do all the little things that you need to still be doing for Dave Ramsey, hopefully now that you're at home more and have more time for it. So we are 8 lessons in already, which is crazy. Time's gone really fast. So we're going to take a step back and we'd like you to think about what wins you have celebrated. So we would have asked, has anyone moved forward in the baby steps since lesson 1? So we kind of want you to answer that for yourself. Feel free to pause, talk about it with your spouse or your friend or whoever you're watching with, but think about the little things that you've done over the last 8 weeks and really just be proud of yourself for what you've done. It's a hard program and we know that, and there's a lot of mental strength that goes into it, time, all of those kinds of things. And we know your whole family's affected, not just you. So
For sure.
We're really proud of you guys and encourage you to keep going. We also want to touch base again about budgeting. We know those first few weeks you feel like you're gung-ho, and at this point you may be thinking, yeah, I'm kind of over this whole budgeting thing. So just give yourself that extra push. Take the time this week to re-hone in your budget, get it back under control. That way you can keep moving forward with your budget as well. But like Rachel had mentioned in those first few videos, it takes a few months to get it down, and that's totally fine. So just keep in mind that we're here for you if you need anything, but if not, hold yourself accountable during this unique time. All right, now we're going to go ahead and have you guys get ready for the video. So in this lesson, Dave's going to share over 30 years of his own personal experience in real estate to help you know when and how to buy, sell, and rent. And then as we get ready to start the video, turn to page 114 in your workbooks and think about this. How would you feel if you completely owned your home? Completely paid for, it's all yours, no payments. So as you're getting to page 114, go ahead and hit that pause button. Go watch the Dave Ramsey video in its entirety, follow along, all those good things, just like you would be if you were in class, and then come back to this video and do the activity and discussion questions with us.
All right, so you should be paused right now. And once you come back, we are going to walk through the activity for lesson 8. So if you guys could turn to page 121 in your workbooks, that would be great. We're going to walk through this case study here. So we have this buy a home the right way. Okay, so we have 2 scenarios here, and they're both buying a home. Okay, so there's no renting involved here. So we have 2 couples. We have Drew and Amy and Charles and Misty. So we look at the first example of Drew and Amy. They're buying a 30-year mortgage. So they're going to have monthly payments of $764, which you can already see is cheaper than Charles and Misty's monthly payments. But they're doing it for 30 years, so twice as long of a period. So after 30 years, you guys don't have to worry about the math on this. It looks like they have it laid out for us. They're going to end up spending $274,993 in total months of the principal and interest. So, okay, so that's a 30-year period. So now we're going to look at Charles and Misty, which is half the length of the time. So it's only 15 years. Their monthly payments are a little bit more expensive, so they're $1,184 a month. And then after only 15 years, so again, they're financing it at 15 years, it's only $213,030. So if you guys do the math, there's a difference of roughly $62,000 that Charles and Misty ended up saving over time because they pay off their home twice as fast. Okay, so hopefully that kind of makes sense. Again, we're assuming that they each put 20% down originally. They're buying a home for $200,000 at a 4% rate, and over time, Charles and Misty saved about $62,000 they saved $62,000 more than Drew and Amy did because they only did it in 15 years. So we have a couple questions below. So based on this example, would you rather be Drew and Amy or Charles and Misty, and why? So obviously we kind of just walked through that. Charles and Misty are the winners here. They saved a lot of time and they saved a lot of money. So we'll go right into question 2 since we kind of already answered that. What could Charles and Misty do with the difference to build additional equity in their home, and what would you do with the difference? So with an extra $62,000, that means that they got to baby step 7 twice as fast. They have an extra 15 years in baby step 7 as well because they have their house paid off. So there's a lot of things that they could do with that kind of money. So like, for example, if they wanted to remodel their kitchen, if they've always dreamt of doing that, now they can, build a brand new kitchen with granite countertops and stainless steel appliances, all that good stuff. They could remodel their bathrooms. They could add in another bathroom maybe if that's a possibility. They could finish their basement, get a deck in their backyard. There's a lot of options that they could do, especially with all that extra cash. So that's kind of the activity. Hope that all kind of makes sense. That's just something to think about. I think the whole moral of this activity is just, the sooner you pay off your house, the more cash you're going to end up saving based on paying less interest. And, the more options you have in terms of building equity in your house, or you could take vacations. You guys got lots of options here. So just something to think about in the back of your head when paying off your mortgage. Okay. And then we're going to just dive right into the discussions now. So that's going to flip to page 122 in your guys' workbooks now. Again, a lot of these discussion questions are a little bit redundant, we feel like. Not that we're just skipping it just to, make it easier. Just we see these questions all the time. They're pretty straightforward. So we're just going to only mainly focus on question 2, somewhat question 3 here. So we'll just kind of dive right into it. So question 2 asks, based on what you've learned from Dave and Chris, how do you know if you have too much house? Okay, this is a good question. It's really good to think about for sure. I'm guessing a lot of you guys own your own house too. So hopefully this is pretty applicable for you guys. So once we learn from the video today, you shouldn't have more than 25% of your take-home pay per month into your house. So for example, if you got paid $1,500 every 2 weeks, I'm guessing most of you guys are on a salary. This is just a random example. So you get paid $1,500 per 2 weeks. So it's about $3,000 every month. Okay. You shouldn't have more than 25% of that. That's take home after tax, right? You're assuming that you already got tax on your payroll. You shouldn't have more than a $750 mortgage, and this would just be one individual. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you were a couple and say you guys both made the same, then you'd have $6,000, and then you shouldn't pay more than $1,500 because that's 25% of your take home. I hope that makes sense. And again, kind of think, not only, obviously that's just the math, right? That's just what Dave recommends, but it should kind of make sense too, right? If you have more than 25% of your take home, you kind of do have too much house. Your money's just going directly to your payments, and that leaves you less room to save, buying food, saving for your kids' colleges or anything like that, all those kind of expenses. So just kind of want to be cognizant so we're not, throwing all of our money straight at our house payments. So just something to think about. If you guys have more than 25%, something to definitely think about, trying to maybe adjust, whether it's either directly selling your home or trying to refinance, or
rates are really low right now, so it could be a really good time to refinance if that's something that could be helpful in your situation.
For sure. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. We definitely want you guys to kind of think through that example and think a bit more than just at the surface level. And then
if you're below that 25%, that's huge too. You could be using that to your advantage. It doesn't mean you have to bump up to that 25% because you feel like you need to meet some sort of criteria. If you're below that, that's awesome. Throw more money at your mortgage to get up to that 25% to pay it off even quicker. So that's really the goal, is just to roll through these baby steps as efficiently and quickly as possible while also still living your life and still having opportunities to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Caitlin brought up definitely a really good point. And yeah, it doesn't have to be truly like 25%, right? If you're a little bit over or a little bit under, like totally fine. Kind of based on what you guys want to do as well. So that's a great point. Okay, so we're going to go quickly into number 3. It's going to be more rhetorical here. We won't have to say too much, and again, we kind of went into this too. So based on your question number 2, do you need to make any adjustments to your housing situation? If so, what? Refinance, sell, buy, throw more money at your mortgage. So yeah, kind of like Caitlin mentioned. Say you are only doing 15% house. You have a really cheap, you got a really good deal. You're looking in a good spot. Then it's definitely something you could think about. Do you want to throw more at your mortgage? Do you want to, it's a 15-year fixed mortgage and you want to try to finish it off in 11 years or something like that. Or if it's a 30-year and you want to try to finish off in 25 or 22 or whatever it may be. Just something to think about. Definitely, if you have a significant other that you're living with, for sure, talk it through with them. Kind of what makes sense for both of you guys financially, and hopefully you guys come to some good conclusions. But that's pretty much it. Again, questions 1 and 4, a little bit redundant / just not very applicable for us. But hopefully these discussion questions, activities, and the video all helped. Again, we apologize that we couldn't be in person, but we felt like this was the best decision to do based on, unfortunately, with everything going on. So thanks so much, guys. Pretty much that's it, right?
Yeah, and you can definitely contact us via email or call or whatever if you have any questions. Our extra tip of the week is going to be, we touched on this briefly last week, but there's certain online banks that carry higher interest rates. So as you do start plugging through the baby steps, when you're going through the debt snowball, you shouldn't be saving more than $1,000 at any given time. You should be doing that zero-based budget and throwing all your extra money toward your debt. But once you get past that point and you are building up that 3 to 6 month emergency fund, it can be really helpful to have a better interest rate. The Fed's actually just cut interest rates, I think on Thursday or Friday, by 0.5%. So just keep that in mind, as that rates are actually going down right now, but they're still better with those online banks. So if you're past baby step 2, maybe start looking into online banking. There are a few hindrances of it. You may still want to keep your local bank just for when you need cash or a large check, or just to have that relationship with someone. But definitely a great tip is to just look online and see what other options are out there. Also, we forgot to cut up credit cards last week, so
Right.
This is your opportunity. If you still have credit cards out there, take your extra time and just snip them up while you're at home. Send us a picture. We'd love to see it. But we really got to get rid of those credit cards, because Dave always talks about, if you're ish, that's a wish. So make sure you're not being Dave-ish. Be full on Dave.
Absolutely. So with all that said, we're just going to close today's lesson. So if you guys could turn to page 123 real quick, we'll wrap up with our action steps here. So real quick too, the next lesson is going to be our very last lesson together. So in lesson 9, you'll learn how to truly live and give like no one else. In fact, you'll learn the key to finance peace. It's an incredible lesson that shows us what the whole course is really about. You really do not want to miss this lesson, so do not skip out on lesson 9.
If you are a tearjerker like me, you might want to bring tissues with you whenever you're watching this next week. It's a really good video.
For sure. So here are the following action steps before next lesson. Use the mortgage calculator and connect with the real estate ELP, if applicable.
And that ELP link is in the email from last week. We'll probably include it in this week's email too.
Perfect. Take a look at your budget. So kind of like Caitlin mentioned in the beginning, make sure that we guys are still doing the budget. Should be we're I guess in the 3rd month, so kind of like what they mentioned, this should be the month where you guys kind of hopefully got it down, right? The first month, you're just kind of estimating where your expenses are going. Second month, you do it a little bit better, but by the time the 3rd month comes, which is this month actually, March, hopefully you guys are starting to get it down pretty well. So props to you guys if you are.
Corona might have thrown it off. Your toilet paper might have been a little more expensive this month, but
that's true.
That's kind of what that catch-all budget is for. So use that miscellaneous category to your grocery budget advantage this month.
Absolutely. And then investigate and refinance, kind of like we mentioned. So if you're paying, too little or too less, maybe you can try to switch to a 15-year fixed or whatever it may be. Also complete your financial snapshots. So you guys remember that little card that we did the first or second week of the class where you kind of filled out, how many credit cards you have, what your debt looks like, how much cash you have. We're going to do that again.
We'll send out a Google form. That way it's anonymous. So we'll also include that in the email.
Yep.
That way you can fill it out without having to hold on to the card or send us a picture, because we don't want to know who is who. We just want to collect the data. So just look for that link within the email.
Yep. So please do that anonymously, just like Caitlin said. So again, the whole purpose of that is we're just going to kind of see, our growth. How much debt did we do? How many canceled credit cards do we have? All that good stuff. So just, we'll be able to share that at the aggregate level with you guys, and we're excited to see what you guys have for us. So And then finally, read PMI, necessary or not, on the next page. So those are all the action steps. Hope this helped you guys on lesson 8. And we hope you guys have a good week. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.